Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's $5 Tuesday. We got the NBA Cup final. Spurs take on the Knicks in a big, big game. Jesse Schule is going to break that one down. He's going to give us two college football teams to fade going into bowl season. Brian's going to hit the Veterans Bowl with Troy and Jacksonville State. And we're going to have Carmine joining us to go over Rams and Seahawks. Dan, going to bring you in. What did you think of the game last night?
It was a football game that was played on a Monday Night Football. That's what we could say about that one. But all the trends were true, right? Tua looked freezing. The Steelers and Mike Tomlin, they just don't lose games on Monday Night Football. And kind of got to agree with Troy Aikman. How that game ended was absolutely bizarre. The game was out of hand, and then the Dolphins were like, oh shit, maybe people in Miami bet the over. We should probably start scoring here randomly. But there was no sense of urgency to the scoring. It was an ugly Monday Night Football game, but the plays that we were talking about here, Andy, Darnell Washington over the 1.5. We're on a 3-0 streak on WTF or LFG. So I liked how Monday night cracked out.
I had a brutal beat. I had Tua under 27.5 pass attempts. He goes over on the very last play of the game. I think he had 10 going into the fourth quarter, and somehow landed on 28. That was the worst football loss of the season. That's one of those meaningless.
And that's one of those in the gambling group chat, probably the Discord that you have that we just posted there in the chat, or, with just your buddies. That's where everyone's like, oh my God, we're going to win this one. This is so easy. He only has 10 and they already start cashing the tickets a little too early. They pull a little Dave Portnoy, Andy, and they say belts to asses, and then it doesn't work out, man. But yeah, we turned the page. Can't believe it's week 16 in NFL action already. We're going to preview this Rams game coming up. Carmine's going to be breaking that one down. We get Carmine because Prez broke his equipment while traveling. Which to me, Andy, means I want to be on the ski slopes as long as I possibly can, so my camera is broken.
Purposely left it at home.
Yes.
Forgot. Well, check all the boxes. All right, let's bring in Jesse. We got to talk about this NBA Cup. Then we got to talk a couple of college football teams. Jesse, welcome. Hope you're feeling better, my friend.
Yeah, I had some broken equipment there last week.
Oh, we heard broken equipment top and bottom, according to the WagerTalk Today Slack channel. Yes.
Rumor has it.
Well, two teams that are not broken that are playing incredible basketball right now are the Spurs and the Knicks. And we have this NBA Cup here, Jesse. This has been kind of a home run for the NBA. These teams are playing all their guys lots of minutes. It's playoff intensity basketball, and we got two of the best teams. Wemby comes back, helps beat the Thunder, and they move to the championship. Small favorite here on the Knicks at -2.5. Money is coming in on the over. This over-under stands at 234.5. What are we doing with the NBA Cup tonight?
Well, Andy, I don't want to sound too much like a boomer, but the NBA Cup for me is still something I'm a little skeptical of. This is just the third time we'll see an NBA Cup final, and I'm still figuring out how to handicap this tournament, and I treat it sort of like I treat college football bowl games. I want to find out who I think wants it more, who's more excited, who gets up more for these games. I got to say, both these teams looked like they got up for their semifinal games, but you really got to give credit to the Spurs, who knocked off the defending champs, and that was an impressive win. Both these teams come in with the same record, 18-7. The Knicks are better against the spread, 17-8 against the spread. You could make the argument that with Wemby out, maybe the Spurs would have a better record if he was healthy. Wemby was back, though, against Oklahoma City. He played 22 minutes, he played 21 minutes, scored 22 points, pulled in 9 boards. Very impressive win over the Thunder for the Spurs. But the Knicks equally as impressive against the Magic. A double-digit blowout win. The Knicks, I think of this team as the kind of team that would rather be in the Eastern Conference Final than the NBA Cup Final. I'm sure they're going to come to play tonight. I think both these teams are going to want it, but I think The Spurs are going to want it a little bit more. They're the younger team. I got a quote from head coach Mike Brown of the Knicks saying that originally when they told him about the NBA Cup, he was like, "Oh man, for what? What are we doing this for? I got to juggle practice and these games." And he said after he lamented the idea, now he's grown to appreciate the NBA Cup. And he said, "I guess shows what do I know?" But I don't know. The fact that he originally didn't like it that much, the fact that the Spurs are perhaps too young to know better, and the fact that Wemby's back and the venue in Las Vegas, neutral site, I think it could be a case of wrong team favored. So give me the Spurs plus the 2.5 points.
I'll go head to head with you. It's the NBA Cup. Let's go head to head. Yeah. What would the
Knicks in a championship game?
That's the point. This is the Knicksiest thing ever to win the NBA Cup and not win the NBA Finals. So I have the Knicks kind of come out. I know Wemby played. I wonder if them beating the Thunder was their cup. I mean that's a huge bragging right to say we knocked off the Thunder and Wemby's first game back. He came off the bench. He's going to have limited minutes for a bit. They got bigger fish to fry. Both these teams do, but I can see the Knicks winning this one and then fizzling out in the playoffs. That
what this smells like to me, gentlemen? You know what I'm smelling? I'm smelling a comment below after the show and let us know who you're riding with and win a 3 free day pass. That's what this sounds like to me. We got a head-to-head here on the Spurs and New York Knicks. Andy is taking the Knicks, and we got Jesse taking the points with the Spurs. Once the video is done, folks, comment below. Andy, comment below, Jesse, and drop your WagerTalk username. You're going to be entered in. And Andy, we got some fade teams that we're going to get to with Jesse here, talk some college football coming up here. But I did want to mention, you and I forgot on yesterday's show to give a shout out to Danny DeSilvo. No, you weren't picked because your name is Danny, much like myself. No, you were selected completely by random. Contact WagerTalk support and you'll get your free 3-day flex pass. That's what we do here, folks. When we have head-to-head bets, you get in on the action. Comment below afterwards, letting us know which side you're rocking with. You'll be entered in for a 3 free-day flex pass, but you have to put your WagerTalk username as well there, Andy. So now that we got a little head-to-head action, let's talk some teams to fade. I always look forward to this, Jesse. You come on, and it's never – when we first introduced this idea, it was let us know which teams we're going to be betting on or fading. Jesse has never come on here and made a case for bet on. It is full fade ahead. Let's do a little bowl game edition of that, my friend. Who are we fading coming up in some college football bowl action?
Well, I mean, it's kind of ideal when it gets to bowl season. You're not really betting on teams. You're fading.
That's a good
teams.
point.
I mean, you got all these teams losing their head coaches. You got all the, especially in this era with all the opt-outs. It's definitely fading teams more than it's betting on teams. And the first one we got to look at is the Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa, and it's Memphis taking on NC State. Memphis had the better record in the regular season, 8-4 against the spread. Of course, Memphis out of the American, maybe a softer schedule. NC State 7-5, 6-6 against the spread. But NC State had some quality wins over Georgia Tech. They were the first team to beat Georgia Tech this year. They did beat Virginia, one of the few teams that beat Virginia, and they did beat Florida State, who everybody seemed to beat Florida State, but still, oddly, Florida State is still a tough team to beat, even though they lost so many games. I don't know. I don't even know how I reconcile that, but perhaps somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. The big fade here, though, the big reason for the fade is Tigers head coach Ryan Silverfield takes the job at Arkansas. I don't know if he's taken any players with him, but I got to imagine that everybody for Memphis is looking to transfer out if they have any other options. They've got a ton of injuries and guys that are going to be missing. There is a few guys opting out for NC State. There is probably a few guys that are going to hit the transfer portal for NC State, but the quarterback CJ Bailey, who's the most significant player on the field, sounds like a guy that's going to stay with NC State, but he's definitely playing the bowl game. He said he's excited about it. He's looking forward to getting some warm weather because apparently the weather in NC State is quite cool this time of year. Dave Dorn is a guy that gets up for bowl games. He says he views these games as a reward that you've earned. And CJ Bailey said he's never won a bowl game. He needs to win a bowl game. So very contrasting ways that these teams are going to look at this game. It seems very one-sided for NC State. So I'll lay the 4.5 points with the Wolfpack.
I mean, when you ask about is a coach going to take some players, the answer is always yes. Like I feel like that's just it's a package deal at this point. Where
and let's face it, if you're a team in the American, you lose anybody who's any good is transferring out anyways every year. And with NC State, the way I look at them is they're sort of in that anybody who's a superstar is probably going to leave, but these sort of average to high end players, they're in a power conference. There's a chance they stick around.
So the second team that you have here, we have a super fan in the chat, RJ Arsenault, who's a great fan of the show, who's always commenting and always giving good bets on LSU, much like my against the spread record with my Philadelphia Eagles, betting on them, betting against them. I've only missed a game. RJ's only missed a handful of games. So I'm wondering what he thinks. But for you, Jesse, LSU coming up, is it go Tigers or no Tigers? How are we betting this one?
Well, the Tigers are going somewhere, but most of them aren't going to the bowl game, including Lane Kiffin, including Whit Weeks, including Garrett Nussmeier. There's going to be at least a dozen starters that aren't going to show up for this game. They're going to have an interim head coach. And with everything going on at LSU, with the shuffling of coaches and players, and Lane's got his hand full with the transfer portal, definitely a fade of this team. LSU fans aren't going to give a damn about the Texas Bowl in Houston at this point, whereas Willie Fritz and the Cougars, I mean, they had a pretty solid season in the Big 12. Fritz has an excellent bowl record. He's won 4 of 5 bowl appearances. Connor Wegman, the quarterback, former Texas A&M quarterback, he was asked about whether he plans to return next year, and he says, hell yeah. He's a Texas guy, and he's very happy to be in Houston. So this just looks like one team that's going to have more of their starters. And Houston, very good defensively. They got some quality wins on the season. They beat Baylor, Arizona State, the defending Big 12 champs. They beat Arizona. They're a capable team. They're at home in their home state, taking on a LSU team that's got other things on their mind, in my opinion.
It's hard to argue that this is like one of the most distracted, non-interested teams in any bowl. If you're doing power rankings on teams that don't give an F about it, LSU got to be up near the top. So for sure, got to agree with that. Looks like looking at the lines here, Houston -3. There's still some -2.5s out there. Over under sitting pretty steady at 41.5. I would recommend if you want to bet on Houston, get on it now because it looks like money's coming in one way for traffic. And RJ even will tell you stay away from LSU. Willie Fritz, baby, we rolling.
We rolling. We roll. Jesse,
Jesse,
what do you got going today for $5 Tuesday, brother? Great chance for people to try out some handicappers that they never had before for $5. Everybody on this show, you can grab a play and see their handicapping style. So what do you got locked and loaded for today?
I have just one play available today. It's a college basketball total that I really like. And we had a pretty solid weekend. I'm looking forward to putting up next weekend's card. We nailed our 5% play with the Ravens. We didn't have to sweat that out too much. A shutout there, and we're looking forward to the next 5% winner. Still 100% perfect on the season with money line football plays. So I'll be looking to add one of those to this weekend's card.
The money line master, Andy. That is Jesse Schule right there. And the fade king. But we won't be fading you, Jesse. Best of luck, brother, and I'm glad you're feeling better. We love Jesse at 100%. Didn't even sound like he was at 20% last week, Andy.
No.
Good to have him back.
0%. Energy bar was all the way down.
Yeah, and we heard what he has rocking for $5 Tuesday. You got anything locked and loaded for the folks? I know the chat's already buzzing asking for darts plays. So, folks, wait. We will have something for you. Just breathe. Just brief darts plays will be incoming. I know this is something that the people need. But Andy, what do you have rocking for a $5 Tuesday? And then maybe let's take a look at this odds board, see if there's anything we can see for a little steam report for the folks.
Yeah, we're doing a cricket play for $5 Tuesday. Absolutely love this one. It's a 4% best bet. We lost 4% one 2 days ago. Woke up this morning to see one cash today. So let's jump on this one. Line's moving, but it's still playable. This is a really, really great spot. I'm not telling you to handle it like we handled the Australia one, because that Australia one was a long play. It lasted 5 days. This is a few hours, but it's still a really, really great spot. 4% plays. We don't do very many 4% plays. So $5 cricket play starts, for most of us, it's going to start in the middle of the night. So it's one of those, get those plays, wake up. There's nothing better than waking up and seeing a cash ticket in your account. So you can get there by going to my link at wt.buzz/AL, and all handicappers can put up a $5 play on Tuesday. Get as many as you feel comfortable with. Always bet responsible. Make sure we don't have too much of our bankroll on Tuesdays, but we're rocking with cricket. Feeling good about cricket today when I see that confident win. All right, let's do a steam report for today. We'll start with basketball. There really isn't much steam coming in on this game for San Antonio, New York. The only thing would be the opening line on this total was 227.5. They are all in on the over. They've played this all the way up to 234. I see 234.5s coming. So if you want unders, wait. If you want overs, you better get on it now, but I would recommend laying off because you missed the big line movement. Doing college basketball here, not a whole lot. I see money coming in on Evansville at Belmont. I see a little bit coming in on St. John's. They like them to win by margin. Louisville opened up as a favorite, but they are all over Tennessee. Tennessee has already flipped to the -2.5 favorite. Seeing some money come in on Wright State. And then later tonight, they love Texas Tech. Big over Northern Colorado. They've played the 22, the 23, the 24, and the 25. They're 25.5. So if you like to lay big time points, that would be one I would recommend going towards. And we want to look at football. We're going to get Brian's take on this Troy Jacksonville, but basically with the situation with the transfer portal, Troy opened up as favorite, but now that's a Jacksonville State being a favorite. Money coming in on Old Dominion. I'm sure we'll get thoughts on that tomorrow. But other than that, you kind of got to wait on some of these lines with the Bulls. You try and want to get the best of the number. It's the name of the game, but then you can get bit by it. So it's the same with props. I don't want to play props the night before. I can only play them, the day of. And so I'm not, do what you want. And maybe we got a good read on certain games, but there are some of these games, these bowl games where I say, you know what, it's just better to wait. But that's my one man's opinion. That's completely one man's opinion. We have a same game parlay that's up for all access clients in this game. So I think this game is bettable from a certain spot, but I wouldn't think it was the way we bet it a few days ago, but things have changed.
Yeah, and Andy, the only other one that I guess probably is worth mentioning is just that Thursday night football game. It's basically been all Rams since we've seen this line open up. It'll be nice to see what Brian's take is on this game too. But really, you got pick'em prices. The graphic that we're gonna have says pick'em, but basically we're seeing Rams up to 1.5 point favorites in some spots on these public books. So it's been all Rams. Looking forward to this big Thursday night football matchup.
Well, let's bring in Brian. Let's talk to him about how to do this game. There he is.
A rose between two thorns, Brian.
Yeah.
Right for sore eyes, yes.
Let's talk about this Troy Jacksonville State game. Obviously, the transfer portals had a big effect. The line's already moved. What are we doing with this game tonight?
So let's start with the fact both these teams lost their respective conference championship games. Sun Belt, Troy did cover. The spread is massive, 24.5-point dogs at James Madison. Jacksonville State, meanwhile, they lose at home 19-15 to a revenge-minded Kennesaw State team and did not cover. Truth be told, Andy and Dan, these were two teams I would have preferred to fade this bowl season. So a little unfortunate that they're matched up here in the Salute to Veterans Bowl. But digging into the matchup, Jacksonville State is going to have a big edge running the football. This is an offense, guys, that has now ranked in the top 4 nationally, back-to-back years in rushing yards per game. Meanwhile, you look at Troy's offense, they averaged only 2.8 yards per carry during the regular season, and their leading rusher, Andy, you talked about the transfer portal just a moment ago. Well, Tay Meadows, he's their leading rusher. He's in the portal, so he's not playing. In addition, Troy's starting quarterback, Goose Crowder, he suffers an injury in the Sun Belt Championship game. Does seem like he will play tonight. He said he was, quote, feeling good following Saturday's practice. But another issue for Troy, regardless of who's been at quarterback for them this season, is allowing sacks, guys. No team in the country allowed more sacks this year than Troy did. 57 sacks allowed. That is 8 more than the second worst team in that department. So a lot of problems protecting the passer. So I don't think it's a surprise, really, that we've seen money come in on Jacksonville State this morning. It's really coming on the Gamecocks this morning. You mentioned where the line opened. Now it looks like Jacksonville State is destined to close as the favorite. Going back to those respective conference championship game losses, guys, while Troy did cover and Jacksonville State did not, let's note a couple things. One, the final score could have been worse for Troy had James Madison not elected to kneel inside the red zone on the final possession. Also, Jacksonville State, even though they didn't do much offensively for the balance of the game against Kennesaw, they did have the lead going into the final minute. They scored back-to-back touchdowns in the fourth quarter to take the lead with a 2-point conversion before giving up the game-winning score. Jacksonville State's the side I prefer in this one. I'm going to be on them. Gamecocks were simply much better than anticipated this season. Everyone expected them to take a step back after Rich Rod left for West Virginia, went back home to Morgantown. That did not happen. Jacksonville State obviously did not regress. Meanwhile, Troy, you just crack open the numbers, guys. Terrible yards per play differential. That's a big-time flag for me. As far as the total goes, all the early money was on the under, but we're starting to see some over money. Because Jacksonville State's the side I prefer in this one, I think they're going to have a lot of success running the ball. I wouldn't disagree with betting their team total over as well. That number, as of not so long ago, was still sitting at 24.5 at a lot of wildly available books. So I think Jacksonville State, led by their rushing attack, gets it done in the Salute to Veterans Bowl.
I sat there with my buddy Jim, and we stared at that team total this morning. Just 24.5, like just staring at it. We didn't do anything with it, but sometimes the hook like scares you off of a bet that you should have just made anyways. And I wonder if this is going to be a situation where, I mean, Bayou says in the chat, Cam Cook will have 200 yards rushing. Like, I don't disagree with that take at all. So, all right, Brian, we're moving to college basketball. We got Butler versus UConn. Butler, UConn. Boy, this goes way back. But doesn't look like it anymore that this will be a close game. UConn minus 15 over under 147.5. What is Butler up to these days with their college basketball program?
Well, we'll talk about them in a second. Let's start with UConn, though, because this is the easy part of the handicap. No denying the fact, Andy, this is one of the best teams in the country again. Third time in 4 years they've started 10-1 or better. Of course, the previous 2 times they went on to win the national championship those years. So good start for Dan Hurley's team. But I have been pretty consistent this year in saying my power ratings, that they never show any value on the Huskies. As a matter of fact, more often than not, they've shown value on the other side. And that's reflected in the fact that this is a team, this is a betting show after all. UConn is just 3-8 against the spread this year. Did not cover against Florida last week, did not cover last Friday against Texas either. Meanwhile, speaking of not covering the spread, let's get to Butler because they come into tonight having failed to cover the number each of the last 3 games. Now, unlike UConn, Bulldogs have already played a conference game, and what a wild one that was Saturday. They went to double overtime, needed to go double overtime to outlast Providence 113-110. Big difference in that game for Butler if you crack open the box score. And they were at home, Butler was. They were plus 20 in free throw attempts. They made 13 more free throws than Providence attempted. So it is not a great spot here at all for the underdog. Just 2 days of rest after a double overtime game and having to play on the road. By the way, this game is taking place in Hartford, not Storrs. Butler has lost 11 in a row to UConn, regardless of where the game has been. I know UConn has struggled to cover the number this season. In addition to that, I know the last 4 meetings between these teams have all been decided by single digits. But all that being said, Andy, damn, this feels like a double-digit win for UConn. I do like Dan Hurley's team to cover the number here. 6 of their first 11 games have come against Ken Pom top 50 teams. Butler's right on the precipice of that, currently number 51, I believe, in the Ken Pom rankings. But bad spot for Butler off the double overtime game. So I think Hurley has his boys ready to roll.
I just looked it up. That national championship game, the final score 53-41 between those two teams. Cash the under.
How the times have
It was a
changed.
different time. Yes, it was a different time.
Yeah.
Brian, we got the Blitz coming up on Thursday. It's still live, and we got a lot to go over with these bowl games. So tell everyone about the Blitz and what people can expect and what they should bring to the table, because we got to get some questions for you guys.
Yeah, good point. I'll get to my $5 play in just a second, but a reminder, guys, College Football Bowl Access package is available, just $149, WT.buzz/BP. I closed the regular season on a red-hot 15-8 college football run. Best bet on conference championship weekend was Boise State over UNLV. That was a winner. Also had Indiana over Ohio State. I just talked about Jacksonville State versus Troy. I got tomorrow's game posted for free on my page. After that, though, you're going to need the Bowl All Access Pass. And Andy, as you teed it up, thank you very much. Don't forget, guys, about the Blitz live this Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, immediately following the show. Wager Talk Today. Myself, Ralph Michaels, Ross Benjamin. This week, it will be our official college football playoff preview. We're going to be talking all 4 first-round matchups and taking your guys' questions on any other bowl games you want to talk about. But if you want your question answered, well, you got to tune in live Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. And then for tonight, guys, I'll wrap it up with this. It is $5 Tuesday. Of course, at wagertalk.com, I do have a college basketball play available. Love this one. Had it circled. Couldn't wait to get in. I put it up pretty early last night as soon as the line came out. So a lot of you have already gotten down. Let's see even more of you on it. Just $5. We're on a 60-45 college basketball run going back to last season. We had 2, not just 1, but 2 $5 winners last Tuesday, Andy. I'm just zeroed in on this one, though, this week.
Bryan Power, great breakdowns. Even Justin says great breakdowns in the chat.
Well
Thank
done,
you very
Brian.
much. Great.
I tried. And it's nice to see Dan Alexander, by the way, on the program. What a treat this is. Huh?
I don't do any of the scheduling, so no compliments will get you on this show anymore.
Oh.
I will tell you that, Brian. But
okay.
We'll make sure we get you back next week. I didn't know you were a gang member, though. Michael Manley is outing you as a Crip, a Blood, maybe a Latin King.
Wow, I didn't know about the Latin Kings. That might be a little bit after my time. Sounds like a little after your time.
He might stick out at the annual meeting.
Yes, Jesus, not me. I will say
That's
I'm
the
so
LA
popular,
sign.
Both the Bloods and the Crips like me. That's how popular I am. So you can catch me all over the Wager Talk YouTube channel. And speaking of which, I would recommend the best betting show ever if you want even more stuff on today. Joe Ranieri and I were completely out of control today, as you might imagine.
Well, it's Joe's birthday. Happy birthday to Joe Ranieri. So
yes,
give a little shout out to our man Joe. I mean, let's be real. You guys are always a little bit off the rails over there, BP.
Yes.
So yeah, I'll definitely have to check that one out. All right, BP, always a pleasure, buddy. We'll see you soon, man.
All right.
You didn't think that you would be getting a gang reference, did you? But that's
I literally just remembered, if muscle memory, I could do my gang sign, the only one that I know underneath the
I think we'll probably get in trouble.
Is
it the one with all the fingers? Yeah.
He uses all the fingers. I always, even as a kid, when I learned it, I was like, who came up with this? It's
impressive. It takes a lot of dexterity. Yeah, I hear surgeons train their dexterity by making that symbol, as a matter of fact.
Well, let's continue the streak on WTF LFG.
Yes.
3 in a row here on this one. So where are we going tonight?
Well, so initially, and folks, if you're just joining us, appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. But what we do every day here, we do a segment we call WTF or LFG. It's what the F or let's F and Joe. Let's F and go. And that is, let's F and Joe. Yeah, happy birthday, Joe. But the premise is simple. I give a play and we let us know if we're going to be tailing it or if we're going to be fading it. Now on Tuesdays, it's a little bit tougher, Andy, because initially I was going to come on here, give Jacksonville State. And then, the line move kind of got me off of it. If I would play Jacksonville State, I would play the money line. Then I was going to come on here and give the Knicks. And then I started thinking about that game and thinking, either the Knicks are going to win this championship game or pull a full-on Knick and completely choke it away. So then that one got crossed off. But this morning I was producing the full court press, and there was no trig on it. It was just Rob Vino and a guest here at Jim Root. And Jim Root gave a really good breakdown on why he is betting South Carolina plus 12.5 against Clemson in college basketball tonight. So that will be my WTF, or LFG, is tailing another guy's play. So now this is tailception. Are you tailing me and Jim, or are you fading us both? 3 straight times they've covered against Clemson. Okay, does that really matter? Well, it's a rivalry game with teams of familiarity, similar lineups, same coaches. I think there is something a little bit prescriptive when you talk about a team who constantly at least plays good competition against a better program than them. This game should stay lower scoring. It doesn't really seem like South Carolina is going to have the horses to run, so they're going to want to try and slow this one down. And if we're trying to keep this game lower scoring, having a team with a double-digit underdog, that gets a little incongruent. So I think it's just too many points, or Jim thinks it's just too many points for teams with plenty of familiarity. We're taking South Carolina. No money line sprinkle, not that bold. South Carolina plus 12.5, WTF or LFG, Andy, via my man Jim Root.
WTF, plagiarism is never rewarded on this show. Using somebody else's play for this segment is, you've just cursed it. You do realize that, right?
You're right. And now Jim
can Mr. Root.
Jim can say, yeah. He's like, well, God, Dan, what the hell? I fill in for Trig, and now you completely mush my play. I like it, Andy. A man of principle. So we have our first fade because I stole someone else's play. At least I gave him full credit. On gambling,
I was going to say, it's actually not plagiarism. It's not plagiarism in the slightest. Plagiarism would be like, you know what I really like is this. Well, listen. On Joe's birthday, I bet he would love a good effing.
Let's effing Joe. Let's effing Joe.
All right. Speaking of somebody else who could use a good effing, Carmine Bianco is joining us.
Oh, what's up,
Carmine? Carmine, we're going to talk Oilers.
I'm flashing my gang signs right
What's
there.
that one? What's that, just okay?
Okay.
No,
Corral?
That's Martin Van Buren, the 8th president of the United States. Come on, man.
The MVB boys, the Van Buren boys. I like it.
Yes, come on, man.
Sorry, not up to my.
And I'm Canadian.
I'm not even. You would know
Seinfeld?
something like that about Martin Van Buren.
The Van Buren boys. You got to
Seinfeld.
watch out for them. They're
Van Buren.
dangerous. They're dangerous, Andy.
All right. Well, let's talk to Carmine about the Oilers and the Penguins. A lot of games tonight. There's only one NBA game. We got a ton of NHL games. We picked this one. How do you break down the Oilers and Penguins? What can we do with this game tonight?
You know, Andy, this one has a lot of intrigue to it. Obviously, you normally wouldn't think that with a team that went to the Stanley Cup the last couple of years, playing a team like Pittsburgh, who are struggling immensely right now. But these teams traded goalies last week, and both are starting tonight. Tristan Jarry starts for the Edmonton Oilers. He was in net against the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto, and they got the 6-3 win. This is going to be the first start for Stuart Skinner for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He had some visa issues, some work visa issues, but those got cleared up on Monday. So he is announced as a starting goalie tonight into this one. This is a Pittsburgh team that is leaking a lot of goals. They've allowed 4+ goals in each of the last 2 games in the third period to go on and lose in OT. They're not playing well right now, but this is more on a prop play. And right now, the Edmonton team total sits at 3.5 in this one. And you have the Edmonton Oilers coming off a loss in Montreal, in which they generated 4.17 of XG, but lost that game to Montreal Canadiens. The goaltending was fantastic for Montreal. But the Oilers, their last 6 wins that followed a loss, they have gone over their team total. They've scored 4 more goals, averaging 5.33 in those 6 wins. So 6-0 to the team total after a loss, their last 6 games. Scoring, the Pens have allowed 22 goals. Their last 5 games, all losses, 4.4. This is a team that is not playing well right now. I get it with the goalies. Stuart Skinner wants to obviously show the Edmonton Oilers that he can play, but I think the Oilers are coming with a chip on their shoulder off a loss, and they get to at least 4 tonight in this game.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like where you're going with that one. Penguins team's been a sieve for more than just like a small stretch. It feels like long term this team's been giving up a lot. So you get the honor of breaking down this huge game, Rams and Seahawks. I'm guessing no Devontae Adams in this one. So Yeah, it's rough. So the Seahawks get to face Phillip Rivers and then Matthew Stafford. And I believe Matthew Stafford is 8 years younger than Phillip Rivers. That's the numbers about how old Phillip Rivers was playing, about how it just are still amazing. But the book's kind of struggling. Don't know what to do with this one. We got to pick them and over under 44. Whenever I see these vanilla numbers, I think you can have a strong opinion one way or the other. What's your opinion on this game?
Yeah, and I do. And this is going to eventually be a play for me at WagerTalk on Thursdays. And normally I stay away from the Monday and Thursday games because I've been doing so well on Sundays in the NFL. But I do like Seattle in this one. Listen, as bad as it may have seemed last week against the Colts, Colts played a good one this past weekend. And Mike McDonald found a way to win. It was all field goals to get them there. But you look at these two teams, Andy, and this one could very well decide the number one seed, not only in that division, but overall. Although the LA Rams control their own fate, win out, and they're the number one seed. Seattle cannot win out. Well, they can win out, but if they win their next couple of games, and the 49ers win their last couple of games, it comes down to the Niners, the San Fran Seattle game in San Fran for the number one seed, believe it or not. So Niner fans will be cheering for a Seahawks victory on a Thursday night. But you look at the earlier game between these two, 21-19, Sam Darnold throws 4 picks in that one. You have to go back 16 games to find a game in which, and this was playing for Minnesota, where he tossed 2 or more interceptions. Five TDs, 1 INT since that loss. They dominated pretty much every single analytic in that game. Seattle did 414 to 249 total offensive yards. Obviously, the turnovers 4-1 with those 4 interceptions. Time of possession 38 to 22 for Seattle. They controlled everything, and if Jason Myers makes that long 61-yard field goal at the end of the game, it is a completely different narrative on the season and on this division as far as Seattle goes. It's the venue switch. Lumen Field is going to be loud. It's going to make it tougher for that offense of the LA Rams. And these are 2 very good defenses, which is why we're seeing the total where it is right now in sort of the mid 40s. You look at Seattle, 9 points, I believe, is their 3 losses are by a combined 9 points. And the Rams are right there at 11 or 12 points. Their combined 3 losses. These are 2 teams that have played exceptional all season long. And the Rams differential would be much lower if not for, and Dan Alexander will remember this one, the blocked punt at the end of the game in Philadelphia, or blocked field goal attempt that turned into a touchdown and cover for the Eagles. With that said, the only thing I'm worried about, and you mentioned Devontae Adams, is Charles Cross, obviously offensive line, the left tackle for Sam Darnold and for Seattle. Hamstring injury for him as well too. You might want to look at the injury reports. They need a good offensive line to protect Darnold. Give him some time to throw, and I think at this price right now at a pick'em, I would definitely be on Seattle.
Are you at all worried that Sam Darnold tends to have his worst games at the worst possible time in the biggest spotlight against the best teams?
Yes, I absolutely do. Sometimes the New York Jets version of Sam Darnold comes out, which seems fitting because it's Joe Ranieri's birthday today, and being a Jets fan, his birthday is the one time a year where he can celebrate something. But with that said, shots fired at Nakatomi Plaza.
I mean, to be fair, he also is a Florida Panthers fan, so it's not all bad for the birthday boy. Let's
well, you had to move down to Florida to jump on that boat, on that wagon, but
Carm coming in with the heat, man.
Yeah,
Carm,
what do you this morning?
You always choose violence. Let's be real, Carm. But I'm hoping folks who are watching the show are going to choose to ride with you here on $5 Tuesday. What do you got locked and loaded, man?
4% NHL play up at WagerTalk. Inside that play, there is a coupon for 50% off my NFL 5% play that goes on Sunday. You can get that for, as I mentioned, 50% off. And by picking up the 4% play in the NHL, I have another play as well too. And it is a huge card in the NHL. So if you're picking up the $5 play, I'm going to add some leans. They won't be official plays, but leans that I am on the rest of the NHL card in the analysis section. So make sure you read the analysis section as well too. And then I'll have a couple additional $5 plays as well too, loaded for the rest of the week, but up tonight, and they're only good at that price until midnight. We'll see if we can keep a good run going.
Awesome stuff, Carm. Good luck on the $5 play. Thank you very much for stepping in. We always got to have somebody on deck when Prez is scheduled.
No, and you have to
Like
go
you
to
just
the
said,
resident Canadians. It was right away. I was like, thank God Prez broke his equipment, because it means we get to chat with Carmine, who's one of our favorite guys here. Genuinely, as you well know, Andy, and the chat clearly sees it, one of the nicest guys around, and a hell of a handicapper too. So it's always fun when we get to sub someone in. I'm never going to cry. I mean, do we miss Prez? Sure, but Carmine's a close second.
Is it possible this Seattle team is one of these teams that could get figured out? Like this offense, like now that we have a huge sample size with what Darnold looks like teams are going, Kenneth Walker and it's not that great.
Yeah,
Charbonnet is not that great.
That's the
Cooper
thing
Kupp is a shell of himself. How hard is this offense really to defend?
Hey, let's limit what we can do as far as a possession and not getting beat over the top by Jackson Smith and Jigba, and then it's figure out the rest. Because Kenneth Walker, he's one of those. If you're a fantasy player, a daily fantasy player, he's one of those guys who make you bang your head up against the wall, because when the matchup screams, "Oh, this is a Kenneth Walker game," he just disappears. And it's not like Zach Charbonnet, who was the guy who would steal a lot of touchdowns from him. So the offense feels really easy to figure out. Now, the thing that helps them, Andy, is that defense is pretty stout as well. As far as this game is concerned, though, I think the Seahawks could be in trouble. I really do. It's things have really come down to earth from Seattle since that primetime game when everyone was talking about this could be a legit Super Bowl contender. Are they a tough team to match up against? Sure, but it doesn't seem like they're the juggernaut that they maybe seemed like they once were.
I root for Sam Darnold because I think he got a raw deal, and I'm glad to see his career resurrected. But it's just so tough until he shows he can play good in a big game, and I don't know. We'll see. All right, well, let's do all around the world. We're going a little obscure today here, guys.
Please.
We have one in the NBA Cup. Then we're going to talk a little cricket. Then we're going to talk a little darts. And I see people have asked a couple questions about lacrosse. So let's go to the NBA Cup game. Luke Cornett over 5.5 rebounds. Even with Wemby back, he started last game. He played 24 minutes and he had 8 rebounds. And his role is not to score. We know that because he barely shoots the ball. It's to rebound. It's to bang around inside. It's to clear out space for those guards and those forwards. I think Cornett actually plays a surprising amount of minutes. I don't think that Wemby is ready to play a full 35, 40-minute workload coming back from injury. And I think the Spurs would be foolish to do that. So don't be surprised if Luke Cornett is out there and kind of squeaks over this total of 5.5. We're going cricket. This one's juicy, so if you don't like juicy plays, pass on it. We're going to take the Emirates over the Dubai Capitals. The Capitals are 2-3 this tournament. The only wins were against the worst team in the tournament, so really they're 0-3. This is a bowling. It's a depth. It's a batting advantage for Emirates. They're a big favorite for a reason. And then darts, these plays go this afternoon. We're going to take Gerwin Price minus 2.5 sets. He's playing a guy that probably shouldn't be playing in the World Championship of darts. And then we're going to take Nico Springer, go to the alt spread at minus 1.5 sets. He's a top 60 ranked player playing an unranked player. These are the first couple rounds where you just see these guys that really don't belong on the same stage with some of these guys. So we'll parlay those. It's minus 154. Again, it's a little bit juicy, but I was looking for some plays to figure out for you guys this afternoon. Like we said, 154 is hella chalky. You don't like playing chalky plays, then forget about it. Don't worry about it.
Move on.
Certainly not for everybody. All right, lacrosse plays. Dan, we had a question about that.
Yeah, which is what I love, Andy, of what we have curated on WagerTalk today is that we have the chat saying, Andy, where's my dart plays? And we have AWB4 asking me about teams to fade in the National Lacrosse League. So I know that's why we save it towards the That's why we save it towards the back end, folks. We know not everyone's interested in it, but a lot of folks who watch this show are just interested in cashing tickets. He's asking, is there a better team to fade than the Las Vegas Desert Dogs? Goaltending is terrible. And now Jeff Teat, one of the best lacrosse players, whether it's indoor, whether it's outdoor, one of the best, if not the best in the world. Now, I'm guessing he's asking, hey, do you just bet against them on the money line? It's basically a pick 'em price because, Ottawa Black Bears are kind of one of these new teams. But for me, Las Vegas only has one game under their belt. So historically, they have been really bad. Yes, their goaltending is really bad, but we don't really know what the 2025-26 version of the Desert Dogs looks like. The one game that we did see, they put up 9 goals against Vancouver. Sure, they allowed 15, but that's why the only thing that I would actually bet in this game, Andy, is the over. And the over between Ottawa and Las Vegas this Saturday is sitting at 22.5. I would play over simply because this Las Vegas team has shown they actually can maybe score this year. Vancouver actually has some good goaltending, and they put up 9 against them. Ottawa does not. Ottawa is 1-1 on the season, Andy, but in their games, there have been 48 total goals scored in just 2 games. They've allowed 24, and they put up 24. Yes, they will score with regularity, but I think they'll also give it up to an offense that is a bit better than maybe history has said. So maybe later in the week, we're going to be talking WTF or LFG, but I'm locking in the over 22.5. Great question there by AWB4. Little NLL talk, baby.
Love it. Love it. There's not too many.
And also
shows.
keep the streak going, baby. Drop a free play below. What are you betting then, AWB? Come on, I'll tail. Let's ride. Let's go 3-0, baby.
There's not too many shows out there that will break down the NBA Cup, the NHL, cricket, darts, and lacrosse. But we got you.
Andy, you say not too many shows. I'm going to set the over-under at 0.5. I don't know if there's any other show that just hit the topics that we took. And just so you know, AWB, they weren't up this morning. Those lines were just posted on the Green Book and the Blue Book. So there you go.
So Bill says this. Steve Stifler is one of the greatest lacrosse players of all time. This is one of the most unrealistic sports scene in any movie I have ever seen in my if you've never seen or played in a men's lacrosse game and you watch American Pie, it could not be further from what actually happens. First off, the guy leaving in the middle of the game is truly ridiculous. The celebration not getting penalized is ridiculous. The speed, the stick, like it's truly laughable how unrealistic that scene truly is. Like even in the moment, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it certainly does not encapsulate the excitement and an actual flow and beauty of the game that I love, Andy. And also just to let these folks know, they were asking about the Steam report. When Gianni isn't on here on Tuesday, Andy and I take a look, some accounts, we look at some line moves, and we dropped it. So the Steam report took place at 16 minutes into the show where Andy and I ran it down. But no Gianni on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Even the Greek deserves a day off or two. Let's be fair.
Yeah, not a ton today with limited NBA and limited things. There's not
and the
much
line
football.
move already happened. The big one was Troy starting as a favorite, flipping because the quarterback is banged up, running back isn't playing. There was a bunch of opt-outs. So the line move already happened in the ones that would be the big Steam plays for sure, Andy.
Absolutely. All right, that's going to do it for us. $5 cricket best bet is up. It's a 4% play. Goes off tonight. We're still at 60% for the season, so we're doing really, really well in cricket. We cashed 4% yesterday or early this morning. We lost one the day before, but then we coming off that big win on Australia. So that is over at wt.buzz/AL. Let's cash these cricket plays, guys. It's a really, really good source to build the bankroll. $5 Tuesday. Every handicapper has one up, so we have all kinds of sports for you. College basketball, college football, NBA, NHL, everything you need. We got you covered on this Tuesday. Dan, thank you so much. We're going to do it again tomorrow, same time, same place. Good luck on your plays tonight. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Take care.